Today we have gathered to discuss some of the major urbanization problems Pakistan is facing. First off, Sharice, how is the housing situation in Pakistan?
Well, Aubrey, currently in Pakistan there is a national housing shortage of about 9 million houses. Half of Pakistan's urban population lives in unplanned settlements that lack electricity, clean water, and sanitation. Those that wish to rent a house often pay a large sum for an area that is dramatically underdeveloped in conditions that lack a legal title, which means that even with renting, Pakistanis may be evicted at any time.
Very interesting question, Sharice. From your research, what is the cause of the lack of developed housing in Pakistan?
For the most part, it has to do with the lack of income. Most Pakistanis make less than Rs 2,500 or less per month. This makes renting reliable housing just out of reach. Another reason is the large number of applicants to live in certain areas. There is a lag time that doesn't cater to the immediate needs of the lowest income population. This also means that the number of applicants always exceed the number of plots available.
That's sad that this is occurring in Pakistan. Sharice, what needs to be done to change the housing situation to prevent this in the future?
Banking experts have said that studies need to be performed towards understanding the prevailing situation, which would give them the correct idea about initiating a workable strategy. Allowing Pakistanis to be involved in microfinance institutions have also shown to be of use. These exercises need to be implemented as soon as possible without delay.
Housing is a big problem that leads us into another struggle Pakistan is dealing with. Cassandra, can you tell us more about this?
Well, Matt, I found that over the last few decades, within developed as well as underdeveloped countries, population growth has actually been decreasing. But in Pakistan, this is not the case. According to the 2011 Pakistani census, the population was at 197.4 million people. Compare this to the 1998 consensus when the population was 134.7 million. That is a growth of over 62 million people, or a 32% increase over the time period. Pakistan's National Population Council estimates that the numbers are anticipated to rise from 197 million people in 2011 to a staggering 240 million by the year 2030. The main reason for the increase, they figure, is due to the ineffective family planning and other population control programs. Debbie, can you share with us some of the reasons why there is such a large population growth in such a small country?
I'd be happy to, Cassandra. Did you know that Pakistan is also the sixth most populated country in the world? As the country becomes more urbanized at an annual change rate of 2.81%, its population continues to grow as well. You shared that ineffective family planning is in large part one of the reasons why the population is rapidly growing, and you would be right. It is a growth rate of 1.46% a year, with the average birth rate at 22.58 per 1,000 people. That may not seem like a lot, but when you're talking about 197 million people, you are adding over 4 million people a year. The average life expectancy for Pakistan citizens is roughly 67 years old. One of the concerns that we find with this population growth is the poverty level and the lack of education that many in the country receive. Shauna, could you give us an idea of Pakistan's current educational landscape?
Thanks, Deborah. Sadly, Pakistan has some of the largest education inequalities in the world. The poorest girls in rural areas are more than 16 times less likely to be in school than boys from the wealthiest households in urban areas. While about 70-30% of urban children go to school, only 50% of rural children do. Overall, 32% of children are not in school. The number of children between ages 5 and 16 who are not attending school is close to 25 million. Most of them are girls. For those in school, after 2 years in education, 1 in 8 children cannot recognize basic digits. In addition, Pakistan has the lowest youth literacy rate in the world at 70.7%. Only 61% of girls are literate, compared to 79% of boys between the ages of 15 and 24. Aubrey, can you give us any other thoughts regarding the education issue in Pakistan?
Well, according to the Education for All Global Monitoring Report, 49.5 million adults are illiterate and two-thirds of them are women. This is the third largest statistic globally. Also, the poorest girls are the most disadvantaged in all 3 provinces in Pakistan, with over half of them never having been to school. As you can see, there is a discrepancy between the sexes when considering which children should go to school. Also, poor areas do not have the resources for a school, and much of Pakistan's workforce is illiterate or lacking in basic skills. These problems will continue to affect Pakistan as it tries to grow and urbanize. Thank you everyone for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this podcast about urbanization in Pakistan.